Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, the comedians that perform here, and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what helps make up our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Dawn Davis Womack.
Hello, Laughers. I'm so excited to introduce you to Sara Cristensen from the Lady Jane Shop, a charming retail space in downtown Harrisonburg offering specialty home goods and handmade gifts. Established in 2011, they have added over 50 independent artisans from right here in the Valley that create the lovely things you will find there. Frequented by many friends and neighbors, this cute boutique is often filled with warm conversation and laughter. Beyond the shop, they also donate 100% of some of their items to support Black Lives Matter and other local community nonprofits. Welcome to the show, Sara. It's great to have you on today.
Thank you so much, Dawn. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, indeed. This is going to be so great. It's a joy every time I get to spend time with you. We've known each other for a while, and we've even done a comedy sketch together called Poltergone Party. Laughers can even find it today on YouTube if they wanted and see how fun you are and what I looked like before all this gray hair. That was a super fun day. And so I'm really looking forward to our time together because of who you are. So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much, Dawn. Yeah, that was so fun. And I remember it so clearly because our mutual friend, Lisa Ha, messaged me about it. And I got there to the set and I was just, it was the people that were involved in the project were so much fun. I had a blast. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was just so fun to watch you all do your thing with improv. I loved it.
Oh, thank you very much. That was Friendly City Comedy. We're not that group's not active at this point, but it was a lot of fun to write and direct, create those sketches. So thank you for being a part of that too. And I'm excited to talk about this Lady Jane Shop and atmosphere you've created. But my first question is, how did you come up with the idea for the Lady Jane Shop and what inspired the name of it?
Yeah, so I am a huge nerd. And I am a huge book lover, book nerd, bookworm. My mom taught high school English, so I think it was destined to happen. But I especially love British literature and have always been a big Jane Austen fan. And when I was thinking of a name for the shop, I knew that I really wanted to create a store, a place where people could come and find things for their home, whether it might just be something very small, like a candle, to a larger piece of art. And I just started to think about how our homes tell a story about our lives. And, when someone invites you to their home for the first time, it's such an intimate look into who they are. And I love that first, going into someone's home and you take it all in and it's like an immediate sort of aha moment of all the things you know about that person just kind of magnified by a space. And, whether it's things they've collected over the years or just the way that they decorate their home, I think it's so telling of who they are as a person, as a human. And so I thought, who's my favorite author? And that is where the name came from.
Jane, okay, that's really great. What are some of your favorite works by Jane Austen?
Oh, so I love all of them. She wrote 6 major novels, and my favorite is actually called Persuasion, which is, I would say, maybe not her most popular work. I think most people would say Pride and Prejudice is their favorite, which I do love very much. But I think that the main character in Persuasion is kind of a person that goes through an incredible amount of interpersonal suffering, and yet she continues to treat everyone around her, even those that have caused her much pain, with this incredible amount of grace and kindness. And I admired that so much about her, because it's something, I think we aspire to do. And so that has always been my favorite. But if anyone would ever like to geek out about Jane Austen or any British literature things, please stop by. I will make you a cup of tea and we will just, fangirl over her. So.
I love the fangirl. I didn't even know about Persuasion, and I have gotten into reading fiction in the last couple of years, and I'm always looking for a next book. So now you've added one to my list. So thank you for that. A nice blessing in today's podcast episode. I want to talk a little bit more about what the Laughers will see when they stop in your shop in terms of the specialty goods and handmade gifts that they can find there. Can you expand on that a little bit more for us, if you would, please?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we carry that I would say folks stop in the most for, we sell a lot of cards. I love real mail. Getting an actual physical card in the mail is such a special thing. And it's just it represents someone was really thinking about me in that moment. And sort of a delayed gratification too, because, in modern times, it's so instant, to send a text or an email. But I love that you send a card to someone and it's not going to be for several days until they see it, they would receive it. But we sell a ton of greeting cards. That's one of our most, I would say, frequented area of the shop. So lots of stationery, and we also carry kind of a pretty wide variety of gift items. The shop itself is physically quite small, and we're under 1,000 square feet. But because of the amazing artisans that I'm so lucky to have met and to know over the years, we have a little bit of everything from pottery to art prints to incredible jewelry. That's probably also one of our most popular items, are sort of the range of jewelry that we have. We have locally made candles, and every month we also feature a different artist with original pieces of work, and that's part of the First Friday's art walk that happens in downtown Harrisonburg every first Friday evening of the month. So we kind of have a little bit of everything, and it's very dangerous because I love all of it. And have to put forth a lot of self-control myself, because when our artists come in to bring all these amazing new goodies, I want one of everything.
So do you give yourself like this mental mantra before they come in? It's like, I am only gonna buy 5 things from this person today.
It's so funny. You would think that I would have, wisened up a little bit after almost 10 and a half years, but I have not. And I truly have no wall space left in my little 2-bedroom home because I have no self-control. And almost everything now, in my own home is, I can look at it and I can know the moment that I saw it, or the moment my sort of self-control caved, and I can look at it and know the hands that made it, and I kind of secretly, not so secretly anymore, but the shop is really just a front to make friends, and I, because people sort of have to come in and then have to interact with me. And then I kind of claim them as mine. And so our artists have all become such good mates of mine. And so I'm incredibly proud when people come over and, they say, oh, that's I really like that. I probably spend way too much time telling them all about the person that made it and what kind of materials they use. So in as sort of the long-winded answer to that question, I have no policy, but I do try to limit it to, I really try to let our customers have full pick of everything before I jump in. So I usually try to give it, it's like if in 7 days I'm still like, I cannot live without this, then I will allow myself to purchase it.
Oh, you got a 7-day window. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's reasonable, Sarah. I can support you fully on this. And now, if we have a laugher out there who is an independent artisan listening and interested in having their work available in your shop, what would you recommend they do?
Absolutely. So please reach out. I love getting new vendor inquiries. I would say if an artist has, a portfolio of their work, whether it's, something as kind of natural as just sending an Instagram profile over, send me a DM and I can take a look that way. I love when people send photos. So if you're sending an email, including pictures of the items, so I can kind of get a feel for, because the last thing I want is for someone to put forth a lot of effort and time and energy into curating a collection of things, and then to have the shop not be the best place to highlight that artist or item. And I always want our artisans to feel really good about having their items in the shop, and I want them to do well. So a visual is super helpful. Sometimes people will send me a line sheet, which can just be a PDF digital file of, if there's, say, a stationery line or card maker, having kind of all their designs in a digital format, so that I can kind of see them and sort of assess, is this something that I think there's a need for? And if not, I do my best to try to give suggestions based on what I've had other artists say they've had success with, whether it's moving into their own online platform, or if there's another business in the Valley that I know of that might be a really great fit. But yeah, we get, I would say I probably get a couple inquiries a day. And it's such an honor to even be, have people think that, they might be interested in selling items in the store. So definitely reach out. I love getting new vendor inquiries, and we are adding artists, pretty frequently. Unfortunately, we are a little limited because of our space. So I often will offer folks the opportunity to do a pop-up in the store. So that just looks like kind of a Saturday afternoon, 3 to 4 hours, whatever the artist is comfortable with. And we try to kind of promote that. And the First Fridays is also a really fun way to, do whatever we can to support our creative community, and do it in a way that they are able to make. So like for our pop-ups, we don't charge any kind of percentage or consignment. We just want them to be able to sell what they sell, and to keep all of the profits for themselves. First Fridays looks a little bit different. We kind of try to cover our credit card fees and things like that. But yeah, definitely our email. I think, Dawn, you're going to put our details in the episode description. So
yes,
please reach out.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's a nice place for artisans to put their work, but it's also a lovely place for laughers to stop by and window shop and purchase because it's not just any shop. You've created a warm and friendly vibe there. And I imagine you have a ton of memories created since 2011. Can you
Mm-hmm.
share some of the highlights or some of your favorites that best describe this experience when the laughers shop at the Lady Jane?
I do have so many memories. The store has been such a gift to me personally. I opened the store when I was 23, 24. And I was pretty lost at that time. I had been teaching elementary school, also in the Valley. And I think quickly realized after just 2 years that, my heart was really less actually in the teaching aspect of education and more in the, teachers are not just educators, they are providers, they are often a parental role. They take care of the mental and emotional aspect of a child. And so they carry so much. And I think for me, I realized very quickly that I couldn't continue to provide the level of quality of education that I wanted to when I was so distracted by the sort of the emotional, psychological needs of the students. It just was so hard to feel like certain things were important when they were, they were living in a home without electricity, or their parents were, there was something going on in their homes. And I think if I would ever go back, I would be more interested in sort of the guidance counseling or the sort of supportive role rather than a classroom teacher. But so when I opened the shop, I was just sort of feeling very lost. And I just knew that I wanted to make a space that might make someone feel uplifted in some way when they came in. And I didn't know what it was going to look like. And I had no idea what I was doing. And, I think most of the adulthood is making things up as we go,
Yes.
Really, my favorite memories are just the people that I met the first year or two that I was open, who just by just being who they were and by just coming in and existing, they created that environment for me because they made the space joyful. And I think my favorite memories are just of seeing how much people have grown and the things that have happened in people's lives over the last 10 plus years. And so seeing people graduate and come back, seeing children grow up and go off to college, and even some of the younger customers I had, they're now married with kids, and they allow me to continue to be just a very small on the periphery, but when you see someone over the course of a long period of time, and you see them, several times a year, they invite you sort of into their lives. And so I still have notes that, I found them the other day, actually, when I was cleaning, and it was a note from, she's now a UVA student, but one of my precious kiddos, she wrote me a note on a Post-it, and it's in that darling child handwriting, and it's, "Hello, Miss Sarah. I'm sad we missed you today. We were out walking our dog and we wanted to say hello, but you must have been home. It was just this note. And she's now, she's got a full ride to UVA and is just thriving. And she came to visit over her winter break, just to say hello and give me a hug. And her best friend, I've also known since she was in middle school, and she's at William and Mary now. And she and her mom actually adopted two of our foster kittens. And people invite you into their lives, and it's such a privilege. And so in small and big ways, holding a baby for the first time, that's, or someone coming in, a couple coming in after they've gotten married, and, you've seen them kind of go through that process of courtship and engagement and marriage. And people come back to just give you updates on their lives. And it's those moments that I cherish the most, I think, of all of them.
The building of the relationships with the customers, and they keep coming and checking on you, don't they, Miss Sara?
Yeah. Yes, I love it. It's the best.
You have a big heart, and that is, in so many ways. And I think I read recently, and you can correct me, that you became a foster mom. Is that true?
Yes. So actually, yesterday morning, I had my last home visit, and passed and ticked that last box. And as of next Wednesday, I should be certified and ready for a call whenever there's a need for a placement. So I haven't had children yet. I've never had kids of my own, and I'm so excited and terrified. But all of my lovely customers that are parents have assured me that is very normal. So
little mixed ball of feelings there.
Yes. And I'm sure you can attest. I know you are a mama.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's such a journey of kind of sort of discovering it as you go along, what panting means.
Yeah, exactly. You get new territory and you're like, what? Mine's 28 now, though, so this is a whole different chapter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remind me where he lives, Dawn?
He lives in Durham, North Carolina.
That's right. I thought he was down in the Carolinas. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a whole different stage, but also beautiful in so many ways because now that he's an adult, it changes the level of bonding and conversation and connection in an adult way, and it's unfolding. He's amazing. It's unfolding in a beautiful way. So thanks for asking about that too. Big heart, this Sara. I mean, you heard her talk about the foster kitty there just a few moments ago. And I saw on Facebook, Sara, you recently adopted Marshmallow, who happens to be your 40th shop foster kitty. Does that mean laughers can meet Marshmallow in the shop when they go?
Yes. So she is actually going to be going to her new home probably midweek next week. So I would think the 26th or 27th. So if you do stop in before then, certainly you will meet Marshmallow. But have no fear. We will sort of prepare for our next foster when she gets to go home. But yes, she is our 40th kitty, which is amazing. It doesn't feel like that many, but it's been about six years that we've been fostering for the Incredible Cat's Cradle, which is also sort of located in downtown Harrisonburg, right across the street from us. And their amazing animal rescue group. And so, yes, Marshmallow is one of the most affectionate kitties I've ever met. She loves to lay on my keyboard while I'm working at the shop. She just wants to be close, and she's so precious, and is going to the best home. It's a lovely retired couple. So she will have her family all day with her, which she will absolutely love. But yes, we often have a cat in the store, and they just roam freely. Sometimes we have very active kitties that, are constantly busy. And then we'll have, your classic, very sleepy, nappy kitty who just wants to curl up on a chair and sleep all day. But it's been such a fun experience to see animals, I think, immediately, they're so universal. And we see an animal, a cat or a dog, and we sort of that social construct of like, I'm a normal human being. I'm not strange. I don't have my weird quirks at all. And you see a dog on the street, and all of a sudden you're just like, you lose that. It drops completely. And you're just kind of like, your dog is so cute. What's his name? And so I love that when people come into the shop, they've got their kind of their, I'm out in public face on, which we all do naturally. It's just kind of our instinct. And then they immediately kind of go soft and gooey when they see a kitty. And it's just so lovely and sweet to see. But anyways.
Yeah, this is the 40th kitty. And what is the story behind this getting started with all the foster kitties? How did that happen?
Yeah. So my amazing mom is a huge animal lover and volunteered for a rescue up in Northern Virginia for many, many years. And has had hundreds come through their home. And she fosters dogs, puppies and dogs. We're all big dog folks in my family. They have 3, I have 2. And we would have more if we had the space, I think. So that was kind of, when I was home from college, I would go and help her with adoption events and was helping her, with socializing the puppies and cleaning and feedings and things like that, and fell in love with animal rescue that way. And at the time, I was sharing the space where we are currently with a good friend who was a big cat lover. I sort of anything with fur, I'm all, I'm there. And so we used to go over to Cat's Cradle and just look at all of the kitties in the space there. And unfortunately, currently right now, they don't have cats in the building downtown, except on Saturdays and Sundays, kind of pandemic related and staffing related, I think. But we would go in to visit all of the kitties regularly. And one day we were just chatting and we said, I wonder if they have ever had anyone foster a cat in a business, rather than a home. Because at the time she had cats of her own and I had my pups, and we weren't sure, how our own animals would adjust to kind of the addition of new creatures. And so we walked over there and asked at the time the director there, and he was just said, we've never thought about it, but let's give it a try. And it has been the most fun. And bless my dogs, that whole, home is their own space has just gone out the window. We've had, I think we've had many a kitty or litter of cats. And in fact, I did end up fostering dogs at home as well. And I've had, I think, about 20 dogs come through. So my sweet pups have had to get used to sharing their space ultimately. But it wasn't, we never set out to I never set out to do this long-term necessarily. It was kind of just, I wonder if that would be helpful for them to have another foster, but to have someone downtown. But, I think we end up getting a lot of the kitties that have either been in care for a long time or been in the shelter for a long time. Because, some animals just don't show well in a stressful environment. because they're more reserved or shy. And that can kind of seem like, oh, this cat isn't friendly, this dog isn't friendly. And it's often not the case. It's often just that they are in such a stressful environment. So they sort of get to be the star of the show in the store. They get free reign, and they get to meet people organically, it's more like a home setting, I think, for the animals, but they get a lot of exposure that way. And so I never expected that our customers would be the ones often adopting our kitties, but it has happened many times. And I kind of expected people would see the kitties on the Cat's Cradle website and come and meet them, but we have had multiple times that even people that are visiting the area as tourists have adopted some of our kitties. We had one go.
Wow.
Yeah. We had one go all the way to Buffalo, New York.
Oh my gosh.
They kept in touch, and they are doing so well. That was several years ago, but they were on vacation at Massanutten and had to buy everything because they fell in love with one of our fosters. So they had to buy a carrier and a litter box and toys and food and drive all the way back up to Buffalo. And so that's been really, and we've actually, some of our artisans have adopted some of our fosters too. So they've sort of stayed in the family in that way, which is so special.
You got to watch out if you're an animal lover going into the Lady Jane shop, people.
Yes, I know that sounds, I promise we are very low pressure. There's never any, it's often, in fact, I kind of am like, are you sure? You're on vacation or you just came in, it's just so special. So.
Yeah, that's really neat. Again, the heart extends. I love that you have, because I love that you have items where you have 100% of the proceeds get donated to support Black Lives Matter and our local community nonprofits. I'd love for you to talk to the Laughers about that a little bit more. Can you share more about what you do with that?
Yeah, so it's always been so important for me to try to reinvest in the community that it has given me so much over the years. People go so out of their way to support small businesses. They are very intentional when they come into the store. And I feel so lucky that I live and work in a community that is such a generous one. I mean, we have, within the square footage of downtown Harrisonburg, I couldn't name all the nonprofits that are downtown. And many of our customers work for the nonprofits in the area and have the most incredible love for this community. And so really it was born out of inspiration from what the people around me and the generosity that exists in this community. But during the 2020, we had closed down, out of concern for not wanting to be a part of community spread. And then, the Black Lives Matter movement has existed for many years. But after the murder of George Floyd, it was really impactful to see our community. There were several rallies and marches that happened kind of in the time after George Floyd's death, and then of course Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and I mean it's so incredibly clear that the awareness that existed after some of those more highly publicized deaths, racial violence that occurred, it just really hit me that I wanted to use this small platform that I have been so lucky to have to do whatever I could to try to amplify those voices that were calling for change. And at the time with the pandemic, we were closed, but masks were still really hard to come by at the time. This was pretty early on in during the initial kind of, we didn't really know what was happening as a country, as a global community of people. And I remember thinking, I don't know how to get a mask or buy a mask, but I know kind of how to, my sewing skills are not great. So when I say sew a mask, I mean, that's a very generous term to say sew. But I knew how to follow a pattern and a YouTube tutorial. And so,
YouTube.
yes, bless it. Everything from plumbing to house repairs.
Yeah.
So anyways, at the time, another dear friend of mine, Alicia, she co-owns Bittersweet Bakery, which is also in downtown Harrisonburg, along with her best friend, Erica. My friend Alicia and I were both just kind of talking, what can we do? We felt so helpless when all of this was happening, both pandemic-wise and racial justice-wise. And we both sewed, and we decided to start making face masks. And several other local businesses, fabric businesses, Patchwork Plus. Some good friends of mine are co-owners of Patchwork, and they donated quite a lot of fabric to us. And we found that with fabric and repurposing, actually stretchy yoga pants and things like that, you can wash those and rip them up, and they made really comfortable ear straps. So we were, and then several other friends got involved who sewed, or they might say, I'm not really a sewer, but I can cut fabric. And so we were kind of round robining a whole batch of fabric and masks. And so we ended up making several hundred masks, and we were selling them online. When I went to having an online store for the first time, I was doing free local delivery, and we were shipping as well. But we ended up raising a couple $1,000, and we wanted all of that money to go directly to Black Lives Matter. So between local Black and Brown owned community organizations and the NAACP and the Black Lives Matter organization as well. We really wanted that to happen. And then I started to think about how important it was to have representation of the Black Lives Matter movement, and also supporting artisans has always been important. But really, I took a hard look into, am I also supporting a diverse collection of artisans and providing people equal representation? And as a AAPI-owned business, it's something that I'm honestly embarrassed to say it hadn't really been something I had been aware of before. And so I'm so thankful to have had my eyes open to how incredibly important it is to provide support and to be intentional about amplifying Black voices. And that also includes Black creatives. And so we started to carry Black Lives Matter art prints and stickers and enamel pins and car decals and things like that people could purchase. And then it was, of course, it only made sense to donate all of those sales to support Black Lives Matter the movement. And it's just kind of, I feel very lucky to have learned so much in trying to research and be intentional about what other organizations we could support, like BEAM, which is emotional mental support for the African American community, and there's an organization called Black Girls Code, which focuses on encouraging young African American girls to get involved in the STEM field, and just all of the organizations that are out there. It's amazing what you can learn when you just do a tiny bit of research. And so I have learned so much, and I feel really thankful to have had my eyes open to a lot of really incredibly important things. And I really hope moving forward that, the shop, my goal is to always have something that we are donating all of the proceeds to, whether it's directly in Harrisonburg. So, especially during the pandemic, focusing on things like food insecurity, housing insecurity, and then kind of with the current climate, supporting specifically our trans youth and the LGBTQI plus community, incredibly important. And so I feel very fortunate to have learned what I've learned. And I know I have so much to still understand. But it's really wonderful when you ask people questions and they're willing to share their stories and to share their experiences. We can just learn so much.
Yes, and be compassionate to one another, have some greater understanding, provide support, and at least say we care, do what we can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nobody knows everything. That's for sure. I know I don't.
Absolutely. Yes.
I will testify that I don't know everything. Put it out on the podcast waves right now, laughers. But that's why I enjoy talking to people and learning about them. You didn't always have an online shop. So when did you put the online shop in? Was that out of the pandemic?
It was, yes. So we'd always sort of just had kind of a landing page for people to come and see, what our hours were and things like that, how to contact us. But it was such a learning experience. But I built an online store back in March of 2020, the end of March. I opened it, and there were like 2 things available. So it took a long time, and I have still so much to learn. And it takes me probably 10 times as long as it takes for most people. But I feel very lucky to have, we now have the ability to, during the Omicron surge, some folks may prefer to not come in person and to still do curbside or to go back to curbside pickup. And so it's been really wonderful to have an opportunity to try to provide accommodations for anyone if they're, they just don't have the time to come in, and it's easy to just place an online order and to know they can come pick it up on their way home. And then we are, living in this amazing community and having all of our local colleges. We have a lot of folks that came to the shop for the time they were here, and it's been really neat. So we have several, former Harrisonburgians that frequent the online store, which is so sweet. And I really enjoy, and because, all of this is sort of just the childhood me playing store. And so it's so fun to package up items, and I get thrill every time I get to kind of like, throw in a little a little extra not actual glitter, but just try that kind of stuff. I love packaging things, so that's been a joy.
Little Sarah pizzazz.
Oh my goodness, yes. I write a note for each one, whether whether I know them or not.
You're a connector for sure. Do you have e-gift cards or gift cards available on your online for people if they want to? They're not sure what maybe their person in their life might like, but maybe you can get a gift card. Is that possible?
Absolutely. We actually have both. We have e-gift cards that folks can email to a recipient or print out and slip in the mail. But I'm always happy we have physical gift cards that you can load, and they never expire, either of them. So you can gift them and know that if you're like me and you hold on to gift cards forever, because the thought of spending them gives you anxiety. So yes, you can gift cards. We mail them as well. We can send a physical gift card. or you can come pick one up at the shop anytime. And we recycle the plastic ones by washing them and reusing them. So.
Oh, so sustainability. That's great. Yes.
We try. It is something, it's something I aspire to, but I am terrible at, and I'm learning and little changes along the way. Well.
Yeah. I just interviewed, Melissa from Grateful Goods at Agora Market. She's delightful.
Yes.
Yeah, and I learned a lot more about sustainability just doing that interview. So I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited to connect with them more and shop at their shop too. This has been so great. Yeah, they're amazing. As we wrap up here, can you share with the laughers how they can follow the Lady Jane shop on social media or otherwise to get more information?
Absolutely. You can find us on all the socials at the Lady Jane Shop all together, and shop is without the PE at the end. So just SHOP. We're not fancy like a shop.
Oh, look at that accent. Shop. You just broke that out.
So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at the Lady Jane Shop. We are on Pinterest, although I haven't been on in many years. And then you can also find us at the Lady Jane VA, as in Virginia.com. And you can come by. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 6, Saturday 10 to 6, Sunday 12 to 4. Or you can also message me anytime and I will get back to you probably within a few days. We send terrible electronic communication, but I will get back to you. And this podcast is so lovely, Dawn. I've enjoyed seeing your back catalog and listening along. I listened to the one you did with Amy, my lovely neighbor from Tanya.
Yes.
And she is such a gem.
Yes.
And this is great. And I love the concept of what can you do in the Shenandoah Valley beyond hiking, which is great.
Yes.
But my hiking is typically like, I'll be with very physically fit friends and I'll say, oh, look at this flower. I'm going to take a picture of it. And I'm secretly just like, and then, let's take a picture of this rock, this interesting rock. So I love hiking, but if you ever need to know the least rigorous hiking spots in the area, I'm happy to share those because I love being outside, but I cannot walk up a hill to save my life. So
I feel your pain. I have an additional problem. I literally have not gotten lost. I mean, I do get lost every time I go hiking is what I mean to say. A little dyslexic there, but I get lost every time I go. And I only go when somebody says, oh, come with me, go hiking. I know this trail. It'll be great. And I get lost with the people that tell me they know what they're doing. So
Yes, I'm very skeptical when someone says it's a loop and that it'll loop back around to like your parking area or where you started. I'm like, I get partway through and I'm like, I think I need to turn around. I don't think this is a loop. I don't trust it.
I'm just going to drive and drop people off and hang out in the car.
Yep. Take some nature, take it in from the car.
I'll keep the seat warm for you. Oh, Sara, laughers, you know what? We're going to put her information in the show notes for you as well. Thank you again, Sara. This has been super fun and such a joy to spend some time with you today, to have you share with us all the lovely items and warm connections the Lady Jane shop provides to our community and the greater Shenandoah Valley. Thank you for being you and coming on today.
Oh, thank you so much, Dawn. It was a pleasure and so nice to see you. And I will see you at one of your upcoming comedy shows.
Yes, please do that. You know how to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, right, Sara?
I sure do. Comedy, yes, following. I love it.
Do it. And laughers, you can get more information about her shop online at theladyjaneva.com. That's theladyjaneva.com. Buy an e-gift card, or better yet, stop by in person for the warm conversations and laughter, located at 117 South Main Street in downtown Harrisonburg. And lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, laughers. Out of all the podcasts out there, you picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring a show to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share us with a friend. Until next time, cheers.